Hey guys, how's it going? You know, it's only like 2 months, I guess. Less than 2 months, actually, until my book, The Troubles of Johnny Cannon, comes out on October 14th. What? Are you serious? 2 months? Since I've got a lot of experience about being a debut author, I thought that it would be cool to make a video for those of you who are a little less experienced than I am now. And so I wanted to debunk a few myths that I had believed before I finally signed my contract and all that sort of stuff. So the first myth that I had believed was that I probably would not hear from my editor very soon after we signed the contract. When my agent, Marietta, called me and told me that David Gale was making the offer on the book, it was like 5 minutes later and there was a knock at my door. And David and his assistant Nava, they showed up like freaking Ed McMahon in Publishers Clearinghouse. They had like this huge check and like balloons, and they came in and they were like, "Yay, Johnny Cannon, oh my gosh." And then we like left together. We got into, because David has a TARDIS, like a legit TARDIS, like because he knows like people, like I mean, you know, why not? He's been in the industry for like 30 years. He knows people, so he's got a TARDIS. So we got in the TARDIS. We went around the universe a couple times. Probably one of the best days of my life. Honestly, was the day that I signed with him. Mainly because we got to go back and visit Shakespeare and stuff. Another big myth that I had believed was that there was going to be a lot of revisions necessary with my book. It turns out that my book was practically perfect whenever they got it. They told me that. They even contacted like some textbooks places, like English textbooks and jazz, and they took excerpts from my book and put in there as the examples of how books should be written. There were no revisions necessary. You know, he said when he read it, he cried. Like literally cried from how good, how well polished my manuscript was. Yeah, just think about that, I guess. Another crazy thing that happened was that they offered to let me design my own book cover, and they were open for anything. Elephants jumping through hula hoops out in space. I thought that would be a great analogy and stuff, and they were totally cool with it, but I just didn't have time. So we handed off the duties of cover designing to the great art team at Simon & Schuster. They did a pretty good job, I guess. And then another thing that was crazy that I was not expecting whatsoever was just how easy it was to get blurbs for the book. Like, we had to turn people away. Like J.K. Rowling, like, she contacted us and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I've heard so much about this book. Oh my gosh, I would love to read it." So Joe Sounds, I talk to her like twice a week. I would love to read the book, and I had to be like, "Dude, Joe, man, I know it sucks, but I mean, your last kid's book came out like 7 years ago. You're not relevant anymore." Also, the publicity department for Simon & Schuster has done such a great job of getting product placement for the book. Like, it's going to be in an upcoming episode of Orange is the New Black, and not like how The Fault in Our Stars was. Like, they're not going to call me a sick whatever. They're going to call me a cool whatever. President Obama at the next State of the Union address, whenever it's a happy one, like not one of the sad ones, but like if it's going to be a happy one, he's going to talk about it, and he's actually going to read the first part of the book at the beginning. He's going to be like, "You know, there ain't much difference between a deer and a dog when you're shooting, but there's a world between them when one lands on your plate." Troubles of Johnny Cannon by Isaiah Campbell, out today. He's planning to do the State of the Union address on the day that my book comes out. It's going to be awesome. Another thing that I wasn't expecting was just how much of a dog-eat-dog world the author industry is. I mean, there are a lot of bullies, like Tim Federle, author of Better Nate Than Ever. Like, I woke up and there was the head of a Tony Award in my bed. I mean, it wasn't signed by Tim Federle or anything like that, but you know when it's Tim Federle, you know, I mean, he's very intimidating, very threatening. Soman Chainani is like, if I had it to do all over again, I would have added a third school. It would have been the School for Good, Evil, and Writers Who Suck, and you'd be the only student. You know, Claire Legrand, she actually sent a musical haunted doll to my door to tell me to stop writing books, and it was mean. Yeah, I mean, just bottom line, it was mean. And Lauren Magaziner, like, she sent me an email and she was like, "You don't know what is the only thing worse than witches? You, Isaiah Campbell, you and your writing and everything else about you." Like, Lauren, why? What did I ever do to you? You know, Rick Riordan, He like called all the pantheon of gods, and they've been raining hellfires down on me, but I got an umbrella, so I'm fine. Another really cool thing that's happened is I had heard that book reviewers did not respond well whenever you talk to them online. But here's what happened. I was on Goodreads and somebody reviewed my book and said, I haven't read it yet, but it sounds like a good book. And I was like, how dare you? How dare you review a book you have not read? Why don't you take your non-reading self and go crawl into the hole from whence you came and die, but die not reading books, okay? Because you don't even deserve to live if you don't read a book before you review it. You don't deserve to breathe the same air that I breathe, you illiterate scumbag. And they responded. They were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Nobody's ever been willing to actually say that to me, and it means so much. And now they're like one of my best friends. We go get coffee like all the time. One more thing I wasn't really prepared for. I didn't know how easy it was to get on a bestseller list. I mean, I'm already on like 5, and my book hasn't even come out yet, so just about who you know. But the number one thing that I was not expecting, honestly, was I was not expecting just how much easier it gets to write once your first book has been signed and like optioned. And it's kind of hard writing before, you know, because I mean, you've got like no deadlines and you've got like no obligations, but like once you've signed a contract and you've got like obligations and deadlines and publicity and marketing and you know all this other stuff, it's like, how did it get so much easier to find time to write? I mean, for real, like I'm all the time, like I've already written like 12 books since I signed the contract. Well, that's been my experience. If you haven't had the same experience as a debut author, or you know, if you don't get that same experience, then I would say you're probably doing it wrong. Because I know some people would say that how John Green has done videos and said that his experience was different than mine. I would say maybe the fault wasn't in your stars, John Green. Maybe the fault was in you. So, I mean, clearly I did it right. Yeah, so, you know. Yeah, so just in case you didn't know, everything I just said, all a lie. My debut experience has been fantastic. Other authors have been great, and my publishing house has been great. That being said, you know, I mean, I'm a debut author, and that's the way life is. So, one way you could help make my debut author dream come true would be to go pre-order my book, which is available now. I'll have the link right there. So, if you want to do that, that'd be awesome. And, you know, follow me on Twitter or on Tumblr. That'd be great too. And thanks especially to all the friends and all the other writers who've made this experience so great for me. So, see you later.